Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hey, my name is Chantel. Welcome. I'm so glad that you clicked on this video. For today's video, we're actually going to be visiting Barnes& and Noble because you're thinking, Chantel, Miss Ma'am, your little jar isn't filled, and I would say, yes, you are correct. But my manager from Indiana, my Starbucks store in Indiana, she sent me my tips from May, and she was so generous. And because I graduated college, she sent me a $25 Barnes& and Noble gift card, which was so sweet of her. So I have a gift card to use. So I'm not actually going to be using like all of my money. I do have tips. I don't budget cash tips. Just whatever I get, I count as extra cash I can spend however I choose because I don't really know what I'm going to be getting each week. It varies depending on if it's a holiday, how many people are working with me, if we have borrowed partners, that kind of thing. So I have I have basically like $60 to spend because I want to be able to cover tax. So yeah, like $60 or so. So I probably could get 3 or 4 books depending on how expensive they are. I'm not really a hardback girly. I prefer paperback, or soft cover as they call them. So I probably could buy at least 3 or 4, unless I find a couple of bookmarks or something that I like. Because your girl loves a bookmark. I don't know why I do. And or if I find something else I like, I'm not gonna just limit myself to books. But yeah, so let's change out of this getup. That's so much better. All right, let's go to Barnes& and Noble. Which is fine because honestly, Alright, so that was a little bit of an adventure. I was kind of embarrassed to film out in public, so hopefully it wasn't cringe, but I did get some books. Let me turn on the air a little bit so you can hear me. I forgot to bring my little microphone, so sorry. I do want to say I also went to Blush, but I'm not going to show you what I got because it's actually for a friend, and just in case she would watch this video, I don't think she would, but just in case, I don't want her to accidentally spoil it for herself by accident. And then I went to Goodwill, and this Goodwill here, because this is a way larger city than my city, or my town I should say, it is pricey. So this book is Bone Crier's Moon, and it is $2.99. This is by Catherine Purdy, and it's a duology. It's the first in a duology, and this one follows Elise, I believe is how we pronounce it, and then Bastion, I'm not sure. And then Sabine, so should be good. This one is basically like women who are in this bone criers, like they have like that kind of magic, I guess, is or something. Their rite of passage is by finding and killing the boy she's destined to love, which is horrifying. And then for $5, which I thought was a little pricey. Again, I understand, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, you're Goodwill, okay? I got Tessa Bailey's. It's also like obviously a Target book because of the sticker, so it has this bright edge. It's cute. This is Dream Girl, a drama. This is a part of her what does it have? It doesn't have like the little series that this one is, but it's the first one is the Pair Affair, which is, I'm probably butchering that, which is the hockey one. This one is also hockey, and then there's like Fangirl Down, and there's one with golf and stuff. I'm not sure, but this one is Sig and SIG and Chloe, and they meet. He's like, whoa, you're the one for me. She's like a manic pixie dream girl. She's like, deuces. And then they realize that their parents are in love and they're getting married and they're going to be step siblings, which I thought was hilarious. So obviously they're going to fall in love, and it's not weird because they're adults and all that stuff. And then I obviously showed you some, but I decided not to get one of the books that I was holding, so you'll have to see what it was, which I didn't get. So first one we have is The Serpent and the Wings of the Night by Carissa Broadbent. I love this cover too. It's so pretty. I think it's stunning. So pretty. This one follows the adopted human daughter of the Nightborn vampire king, and her name is Aurea, I believe. And basically her only chance to become something more than prey is entering the Kandari, a legendary tournament held by the goddess of death herself. And then basically Aurea has to make an alliance with a mysterious rival, and then Rayan, he's a ruthless vampire, efficient killer, an enemy of her father's crown, and their greatest competition. And then basically she's like, but like, he's kind of good looking though. And then, yeah, obviously. And this is the first book in a series. I'm not sure how many books there are gonna be, because I feel like every time I see something about Carissa Broadbent, there's another one of those books in that series, but I can't tell by all the covers and all the names of them if it's actually separate books or if it's just like special editions or what have you. But then I have Heavy Crown by Sophie Lark. This is the last book I needed for the Brutal Birthright series, and the bookstore that I have in town, it's on back order through them, and I've been waiting for it, and I'm like, well, I'll just buy it here because I have my gift card. So I ended up only spending like $13-ish of my real money, as I'm calling it, like money through my debit card, you know. So this one, it follows Sebastian Gallo and Yanina, and basically I feel like this one is, I don't think this one's gonna be my favorite just because I'm not the biggest Sebastian person, but I do feel like, or wait, Sebastian's the youngest one, right? Or no, Sebastian. Oh no, maybe I will like this one. I don't like the youngest Gallo brother. He's not my favorite. I find him for a reason kind of annoying, but I think I'll like that one. And then we have Love and Bloom by Lucy Eden. This book is so cute. I had this book on my Amazon save for later page, and so now I can move it off. I was just gonna order it, but I was like, well, I'll just buy it here. And so this one is about a Atlanta publicist, Emma, and basically one day she to break up with her boyfriend. She gets fired and she inherits a farm. And I was just like, whoa, that's a lot. And basically, she has to go to Green Acres, Georgia, which I love that because Green Acres is an old TV show that my dad used to watch. So it's like, aw, I think it's Green Acres. And that, yeah, it's kind of like, there's like a talking horse or something in there. And I know it sounds weird, but it's actually really charming. And then it's kind of same vibes as Gilligan's Island, but like farm. And then there is Dan, and he's the farm's manager, and he doubts her ability to handle even the simplest tasks. And she's like, well, whatever, Dan. And then the name Dan for a romantic interest in a book actually kind of like scares me, because I had a manager whose name was Dan and he didn't like me and we had beef. Mind you, this was years ago, but every time I think of the name Dan, I'm like, okay. Anyway, yeah, so I'm excited for this one. I feel like this one is the one, actually, this one and the next one that I have are the two I'm most excited for. Everything else I feel like eventually I'll read, but these ones I'm really, really excited for. People are walking past me. And then I got, it's gorgeous. It's so beautiful. This is The King of Frost and Shadows. It's the Faded to Darkness trilogy, the first book. And it's by Jen L. Gray. And this one is a vengeful king, a lost princess, and the revenge he's desperate for. For the last 12 years, Tavish, the Lord... I can't read, oh my word. For the last 12 years, Tavish, the king of the unseelie Fae, focused on finding the key for taking back his rightful lands from the Seelie Fae after they killed his parents. Then there was one problem that stood in his way, locating the Seelie princess hidden on Earth. After years of haunting her dreams, he finally locates her and drags her back to their realm. She's forgotten her Fae life and wants to escape. He doesn't care. He merely needs her blood in order to free his people, but she's more than he remembers, and a spark ignites between them every time they touch. None of that matters though. His goal is set, to drain her blood once her magic activates once again. He must take back what is rightfully his, no matter the cost. But if he does, the price might be what's left of his heart. Doesn't that just sound so good? And it's so gorgeous. I'm hoping it's a 5-star. I just like this kind of, I mean, obviously, this book is gonna probably be a little bit of a cliffhanger because it's the first book in a series, but it's only 298 pages, which is amazing. So I kind of want to read it right now, but I won't because I have self-discipline, but I want to. So anyway, I hope you had so much fun coming with me, going to Barnes & Noble. I don't do this very often because it is, for me to drive to the city and back, it is quite a bit of a distance. So I really only go to Barnes & Noble maybe 2 to 3 times a year. If that, probably only twice. And usually one of those times is around Christmas because that's when I get like a Barnes & Noble gift card from a family member usually. Or I get some extra money and I like to go and buy some books that I wouldn't normally do, or buy like a special edition or an exclusive edition that I wouldn't normally do because I have the extra. But because it was technically part of like a graduation present for me from my manager back in Indianapolis, I was like, well, it is special. So yeah, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.